If you're all out of parchment paper, but you still want your food to remain fresh while you store it and non-sticky when you cook it, don't worry. You have plenty of options, and pretty much all of them are probably already in your kitchen. They look alike, but there's one major difference between wax paper and parchment paper. It's all about the heat. Since parchment paper has a silicone coating, it can be used when cooking with heat, whereas wax paper can't withstand the same conditions. When a heat element is removed, however, wax paper can be a great substitute. Wax paper is often used to keep food from sticking to other items. Its non-stick surface is perfect for a variety of tasks, like wrapping food for freezer storage and lining a counter for rolling cookie dough. Other common uses include wrapping sandwiches, lining refrigerator shelves, separating layered desserts in a container, or even funneling dry ingredients into a mixer. Basically, the substitution factor here just comes down to the temperature issue, which gives you a rubric for when to use wax paper and when to stick to parchment. While parchment paper is always non-stick, that's not always the case with aluminum foil. Non-stick foil has a special coating and should be used when making sticky, cheesy, or starchy baked foods. When cooking with non-stick foil, it's important to remember to use the dull side for placing food on to ensure an easy release. Standard and heavy-duty aluminum foils aren't non-stick, but you can coat them with cooking spray when you need a more slippery surface for things like cheesy potatoes and garlic bread. Since parchment paper isn't suitable for a hot grill or higher roasting temperatures, aluminum foil is a great choice when cooking over a direct flame. In general, a foil packet works well for cooking proteins, veggies, or shellfish on the grill. This is because aluminum foil does a good job of insulating, as heat and moisture stay within the sealed area and keep the food flavorful. Aluminum foil can also be reused in a pinch, though it should be thrown away if it touches raw food, so as to avoid cross-contamination. And, of course, foil should never be put in the microwave.
Jesus! Oh!
Even if you always fight the roll, plastic wrap is another great substitution for parchment paper. The main purpose of this essential cooking tool is to keep food fresh, like sealing leftovers for storage in the refrigerator or keeping bananas from becoming ripe too quickly. Plastic wrap also has the major benefit that it can be used in the microwave. Since it can hold up to a quick heating method, it can be utilized to avoid messes, like a loosely covered container of tomato sauce that will inevitably result in big splatters. But here's one important tip. Don't let the plastic wrap touch the food as it's cooking. That's because plastic wrap can melt, and you don't exactly want plastic as an ingredient in your dish. For a simple guide to know when to use parchment paper versus plastic wrap, here's the key. For quick sealing, storage, and refrigeration, go with plastic wrap. But for cooking and baking, stick with the parchment. A Silpat, or silicone baking mat, has become a favorite kitchen standby for many bakers. When choosing a silicone mat, make sure that it says it's for baking, as food-grade options are essential. A Silpat can be used in the freezer, and it's also typically oven-safe up to 480 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's this versatility that makes it such a popular choice. Then there's the reusability factor. The ease of using, washing, and reusing again makes this option both environmentally friendly and cost-effective.
It is absolutely the best, the most revolutionary thing that's happened in the baking and pastry world.
Additionally, some bakers have found that a silicone baking mat can make cookies spread more, as the slick surface can result in thinner, crispier cookies, sometimes with more browning. A silicone mat is also a great option when making candies, caramels, or other sticky recipes. The slick surface allows those hot, gooey treats to be easily manipulated. But do be wary of using sharp objects on a Silpat, as tearing or damaging the surface will reduce the non-stick characteristics. Parchment paper can be a little expensive, so cooking spray is a good lower-cost alternative. Even though parchment paper can be used a few times before finding its way to the trash, the ease of spraying a pan and having no waste can be appealing. But here's a quick word of caution. Don't use cooking spray on non-stick pans, as it can build up a residue on the surface. And with the abrasive scrubbing required to remove it, the pan could end up damaged. Nevertheless, cooking spray is helpful for sticky cooking, as in the cases of Rice Krispies treats, or if you want molasses to pour more easily. And cooking spray can even keep plastic containers from discoloring when applied before putting food inside. Even though parchment paper is great for lining the bottom of a cake pan, Some bakers prefer using butter and flour to grease a pan instead. This process can be tedious and time-consuming, but there are some reasons why this may be a better choice than ripping off another sheet of paper. Greasing a pan with butter and flour does take care. The purpose is to have the cake easily remove itself from the pan, but the reality is that not every time will be perfect. If one spot of the pan isn't covered well, the cake can tear or leave some of its delicate crumb behind. One of the reasons why bakers prefer this method is the golden crust that's created on the edge of the cake. Anyone who has cut into a bundt cake can appreciate the slight crunch on the outside with the moist deliciousness waiting on the inside. When deciding between parchment paper and the butter and flour method, the recipe needs to be considered in order to make the best decision. If the crust is important, then butter and flour will be the better choice every time. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more mashed videos about kitchen tips are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.